This is the Gary Vision Indigenous Network, where we keep it real. Changing the way we look at Garifuna is our objective, with thought-provoking conversations with Francois Estrada, the Healthy Corner with Melissa Rock, and of course, the Culture Meets Conversation with Amadi Denzilino. We keep it 100 all the time, Garifuna Suada.
This is GaryVision Indigenous Network, where the Garifuna culture thrives. From beautiful Piney by the Sea to Barranco, Georgetown, St. Mike, Hopkins, and the culture capital, Dangriga.
This is GaryVision Indigenous Network. Garifuna Suada.
Biti Guyon, who soon won the go, Yara Wagera Dangriga. Uganda, Saint Bedi, Georgetown, Penny, Barango, Wadimalu, Nicaragua, Urume. Good evening to each and every one of you, to all our followers, to all our peoples in Dangriga, in Hopkins, in Georgetown, Saint Bite, in Punta Gorda, Penny, in Barranco, in Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, of course, the United States, and wherever you are in the globe. Good evening and welcome to GaryVision Indigenous Network, thought-provoking conversation where we provide you with information to educate, to enlighten, to empower, and to elevate your minds. Of course, I am Francois Estrada, and we have with us today my co-host, Brother Amadi.
Francois, good evening, viewers. Thanks for joining GaryVision Indigenous Network, where thought-provoking conversation, and I'm glad to be here with you, Francois.
Absolutely. It's always good to chit chat and break bread with you, Brother Amadi. We have a lot to talk with our people, and today don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe to GaryVision Indigenous Network right here on YouTube, youtube.com/GaryVision Indigenous, youtube.com/GaryVision Indigenous. Yeah, so this is our new home now, youtube.com/GaryVision. And don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe on this channel. So today we are going to speak on 3 words: passive, assertive, and aggressive. And we're going to talk about, and again, don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to share the show. And we really do appreciate you for liking, for subscribing, and for sharing this show. Yeah, we really do appreciate you tuning in to GaryVision Indigenous Network. And today we are going to speak on the differences between passive, assertive, and aggressive. So this is what we're going to talk about today. Brother Amadi?
Yeah, Francois, I'm ready. Passive, aggressive, and assertive. Yeah, and I did a little homework to join along with you, so I'm just tag along with you as you go. As you go, but so far, where are you gonna start off with the? You know what they say? Which one is the? I say, would you like the good news or the bad news? Right. So
Yeah, yeah. You know, I when I was in the military, I attended a class for cognitive behavior training, and I learned a lot in that training. You know what? And a lot of people don't realize that the reason why black men are passive because during the time of slavery, black men were not allowed to look to give eye to maintain eye contact with the slave master. You know, and
right,
that's how they broke us down, man. That you weren't allowed to maintain eye contact with the slave master, and 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 during the time of slavery, you couldn't watch you couldn't maintain eye contact with any white girl. You know, especially a white girl. So man, they really broke us down as black men. They really broke us down, and over 400 years later, it is still relevant. You know, because black men and but Amadi, how many black men you know that you could sit down and talk with, and you maintain eye contact when you talk?
hmm. Well, you know, I think Francois, I would talk to them, but I think more so when it comes to authority,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I think they lose eye contact. You know, government authority, politicians. You know, that's
Yeah,
when really that passivity show itself. Show
yeah.
itself.
You know, and uh, passivity. Um, when you're passive, you are afraid of expressing yourself. So people can run all over you and you won't say anything. You just sit there and take the beating. You know, and a good example of that. I'm going to mention the National Executive Council, right? Because they can do whatever they want to do, right? And the people are so passive they will not talk up for their rights. So they remain passive. They remain they remain calm, and they don't talk at all. So whatever National Governing Council says, that's what they live to, you know,
Right.
and that's being passive, and it man, listen, being passive in our Griffin communities has destroyed us in
Right.
in in Honduras, in Guatemala, in Nicaragua, in Belize, in St. Vincent. Being passive has destroyed our families.
Right. Right. And you know, if I can chime in with you, Francois,
Yeah.
that one of the things I often talk to people about whenever it comes to a behavior, right? Being being passive, right, is a behavior. Being assertive is a behavior. Being racist is a behavior. And behind the behavior, it's it's been taught. You just don't born with it. Somebody can teach you to be assertive, and somebody can teach you to be passive, and somebody can teach you to be racist. You don't born that way. You have to mold that assertiveness into a person, right? And because you don't want them to be passive, you need to build them stronger, right? So I'm saying that here, what I noticed, right, is that
Yeah.
because passivity is normalized, once you become assertive, right, that being assertive is abnormal. So if it's abnormal now that somebody stand up and being assertive, it kind of become abrasive, it kind of conflicting, right? Now you're like, hey, nobody don't talk to me like that. What kind of you follow me? Because
Yeah.
they're not used to it,
Yeah.
especially dealing with somebody who is passive. an assertive person dealing with another assertive individual would understand that there's all about respecting each other. That's all the person who is assertive is.
Right.
Contrary to the person who is passive, that the assertive person is trying to push over the passive person.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned aggressive just now, right? And a lot of times in our aggressive communities, we confuse assertive with aggressive, you know, because I know me, for one, I've been labeled aggressive, and I'm just assertive. I'm not aggressive, but there are times when you have to be passive. There are times when you have to be assertive, and there are times when you have to be aggressive. But being aggressive, you know, you always come out as being hostile, because because when you are aggressive, you don't care about the other person's feeling, right? You don't.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And I think, Francois, I think when you think about aggression, right? If the person is angry with aggression, then there can be a lot of misjudgment, miscalculation because of the anger.
absolutely.
Rather than being assertive, you're just being straight up. There's no aggression, there's no force in being assertive. You're just being firm.
Yeah, right.
Aggression, that's something that has to be built up, right? That's a built up. And again, all these things that we're talking about, Francois, are learned behavior. Somebody taught you how to behave this way. Because again, if you would have raised them, you could have raised them to raise the boys to be more assertive and be more disciplined, right?
Right.
Compared to how our boys are raised today. We keep saying it, everybody. It's a popular thing now where men are becoming effeminate, they have been feminized, right? Men, that's why you hear even women even start to observe this behavior in men and say, man act like gal too, man act like this too, because women see the woman characteristic in certain men.
Yeah. You know, and last week on Tuesday on your show, we talked about the women not giving the men the authority to raise these boys, you know, and when that happens, the boys become very passive.
Right.
Yeah. And I've experienced that. I've experienced that in two relationships where the woman, don't talk to my son like that. Don't speak to my son like that. When I'm just trying to be assertive to teach this boy how to become assertive.
Right.
You know, when I talk with you, look at me in my face. When I shake your hand, grab my hand and give me a firm handshake. You know, and that's what being assertive is. You are being direct. You're being direct. You're being direct. You're expressing yourself directly. That's what being assertive is. Okay, so we have a couple of presentations that we're going to run by, and then we're going to come back and we'll talk about what this lady is talking about, the counseling group.
Hi, Unju here. An important part of controlling your well-being is controlling how you respond in different situations. In any situation, there are 3 different ways you can respond. You can either be passive, assertive, or aggressive. To be passive is to consider the other person's needs instead of your own. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll continue when you're done. Being assertive means taking other people's needs into consideration when making the best choice for yourself.
Sorry, you got the wrong chair.
Excuse me, Clark. I know you want these videos to be as good as possible, but all this moving around is distracting. Could you please stop? Being aggressive means you take your feelings into consideration and disregard others. Stop it! People tend to have a particular style of communicating because it's their default. The problem with this is that not one style is appropriate each and every time. Sometimes it's best to be passive. Sometimes it's best to be assertive. And other times it's best to be aggressive. The important thing to take away here is that you can choose in every circumstance. A minute ago, it probably wasn't the best thing to be aggressive. Clark?
Sorry, I messed up your video.
It'll be okay. And I'm sorry I yelled at you. Take care.
Okay. Yeah. So I believe those are some great examples of being passive, assertive, and aggressive. Would you say, Brother Marty?
Indeed, it's correct, man. And it's glad again, Francois. I think it's a good thing again that we're making these videos. Notwithstanding, we are not getting the type of support, right now that we're getting, but nevertheless, it's good that we are having it, and it's going to be archived where later on that other young people that's going to grow up are going to find it later on and watch it, and they will see that in 2026, 2025, we've been talking about these things, we've been addressing these issues, and our leaders aren't taking it serious. So again, when they get the message, they know that these videos and these information are for them to do the right thing and not do what our current leaders are doing, failing us miserably. So for our future generation, when they see this and they know that what we are saying, right? When you mention the assertiveness, Francois, the assertiveness says that I have to consider myself, and I have to consider the other person. Being passive is disregarding myself and concerning for others, right? Like somebody step on my feet and I say sorry. I say sorry, right? So again, we know for a fact, based on the evidence that it presents itself, that our representative, the Garifuna, the body that represent the Garifuna people, has the characteristics of passiveness, right? Not assertiveness, not even aggression. So that's what I'm saying. Based on the definition and their behavior, when we put it together, we know that it's a passive organization, the representation of the Garifuna people, rather.
Yeah, when we bring these young children into the studio in Dangriga, and we speak with them, you could feel the passivity, right? You could feel that they are so passive, they are so timid. And you know what? It reminds me of when I was their age, because when I came to the United States at the age of 18, listen, I was passive. I was so passive. I was so timid that I was afraid of speaking up, And I see this happening today with our children in Dangriga. They are so passive. They don't know how to maintain eye contact with you when you're speaking with them, and our leaders are failing our people miserably, right? And something must be done, And when we speak about this stuff, when we assert ourselves in Dangriga, we become problems.
Right.
We become a major problem because we are asserting ourselves, right? Do you feel that way, Brother Marty? When you assert yourself in Dangriga, is there a problem or is it okay?
Yeah, it's always a problem. And Francois, I was about to say something and you brought it back to my attention, to my memory too, because it's good to be assertive. But remember, mind you, I'm telling you that if our people are so lack of information, don't even know what assertive is, and don't know the difference between assertive and aggressive, and then you are being assertive, I personally believe that they are misconstruing assertiveness with aggression. That's why they would want to label you or label Gary Vision and its members as aggressive. But they need to go back again and look into the dictionary and see the difference between aggressiveness and assertiveness.
Yeah, they do
Right?
it all they do it all the time. They have labeled me. I've been labeled. I've been labeled, man. But you know what? It doesn't faze me at all. I've been labeled.
Right, and labeling again, right, is a slave master syndrome, right? So they can continue to go ahead and label too, right? But they just need to know that labeling black people who preach nationalism or pro-black are a colonial thing for black people to label black people and they can go ahead and feel proud about themselves about that. But I'll give you a good primary example of how the National Garifuna Council is being passive, right? According to the Rights of the Indigenous People Act, right?
Mm-hmm.
Garifuna people are entitled to land that they have traditionally occupied, right? So now imagine, Francois, let's use a hypothetical. The Garifuna people have traditionally occupied 100 acres of land, right? The government come and take 75 acres and reserve 35 acres or 30 acres for the Garifuna people, right? Now, the Garifuna people are trying to reclaim their 100 acres. And the National Garifuna Council are being passive in this sense that they're asking the government back for their 100 acres, and the government keep giving them a quarter of an acre, a piece of land, the entire thing is yours. You're being passive. Be assertive and claim your 100 acres. And you follow me? That's between assertive and passive.
I follow you 100%. What about when the government labeled the Maya people indigenous and didn't even mention the Garifuna people as indigenous, and then the National Garifuna Council, they don't do anything. They just be passive about it. So what about that? It's not
that one. I mean, that wouldn't even fit the definition of passive. That's more than like dormant, like just docile, just dead. They're not even respond, no life.
Yeah,
right?
And then
beyond being passive.
You see, and then when Gary Vision bring this up, and when we assert ourselves, now we become an issue. We become a major problem.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But sorry. And again, that's why that you do not remember. It's hard to be assertive because if you're assertive, there are consequences. You're gonna be cut out. You're gonna be ostracized. They're gonna try to starve you out. You can't get anything from nobody. Right, so the only thing left for you to do is, other than being assertive, is to be passive, which is basically feminize a man, a masculine. Take away your masculinity and replace it with some type of in between.
You know, I talk about Commander Johnson when I was in the Navy all the time, because when I was in the Navy, man, he took me under his wings and he showed me the game. Right, when I remember the first time I met Commander Johnson, I shook his hand, and he was like, "And Strider, what the fuck was that? What, man, don't shake my hand like a bitch, man. You a man. Grab my hand and shake my hand." These were his exact words to me. Those were his exact words to me. He said, "Man, when you shake my hand, you grab my damn hand like a man. Don't shake my hand like a bitch." Man, I was, he caught me off guard. I was shocked on that one, man. I really was, because I couldn't believe that he was calling me. He was calling me out the way he saw it, but it was real, right? Yeah. And it really opened my eyes to a lot, not being passive anymore, and it really opened my eyes up. But let's go to we have another presentation video that we're going to show about assertiveness, passive, and aggressiveness, and then we'll take a look at this presentation, and then we're going to come back and we're going to discuss more about it. So let's go into this video.
What's the difference? Assertive, aggressive, or passive CBT? Have you ever wondered how different communication styles can impact your relationships? Understanding assertiveness, aggression, and passivity is key. In cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, these styles play a significant role in how we express ourselves. Let's break it down. First, passive communication is when someone puts others' needs before their own. This often leads to not voicing personal needs. People who communicate passively may avoid contact and conflict. They might feel overlooked or even resentful because their own needs go unexpressed. On the other hand, aggressive communication focuses solely on one's own desires. This style often disregards the feelings and rights of others. Aggressive communicators might raise their voices, criticize, or dominate conversations. This approach can lead to conflicts and damaged relationships, as it tends to create a hostile environment. Now, assertive communication strikes a balance between these two styles. It involves expressing your own needs and feelings confidently while also respecting others. Assertive communicators use clear and direct language, maintain good eye contact, and have a calm tone. They are open to listening and willing to compromise, which helps to build mutual respect and resolve conflicts effectively. In the context of CBT, assertiveness is a skill that can be learned and practiced. It involves identifying and changing unhelpful beliefs, like thinking it is selfish to express your needs. Assertiveness training in CBT includes techniques like role-playing. This allows individuals to practice saying no, sharing opinions, and negotiating needs without falling into aggression or passivity. Practical applications of assertiveness training can lead to improved self-esteem and reduced anxiety. By learning to communicate in a healthy way, individuals can enjoy better relationships and feel more confident in their interactions. In summary, passive communication avoids expressing personal needs. Aggressive communication forces personal needs without regard for others, and assertive communication balances both. Assertiveness is a constructive skill that supports emotional well-being and effective social functioning. Understanding these styles can help you navigate your relationships more effectively.
Okay. Let me touch briefly on what she talked about. Aggressive. So aggressive. When you're aggressive, it's always hostile, and you're always trying to control others. You have no disregard for the other person, and assertive means you're clear and you're direct. Right? That's assertive, being clear and direct. And a lot of times, especially within our Griffin communities, when you assert yourself, they see it as aggression. They see it as you have no regard for their perspective. But that's not being aggressive. That's being assertive. So the big difference between assertive and aggressive, when you are assertive, you have a regard for the other person's feelings, but when you're aggressive, you don't. But Amadi, is that what you gathered from this last video?
Yeah, what I got from the video as well, as they start to spell out the definition of the assertiveness and the aggressive communicators, passive communicators, and assertive communicators, right? And it reminds me about past conversations I had with members of the community here in Dangriga, right? And what I've just realized now is that I've always considered myself to be an assertive communicator, right? I try to be straight up. I try to speak clearly and express exactly what I want. I try to be explicit because I know how people are with words and want to mixture of words and things. So I try to be as explicit and clearly as possible. And what I've realized now that I see the aggressive communicators, what I would now deem my fellow community members, Garifuna members here, are more of a aggressive communicators, meaning that they would raise their voice and dominate the conversation. And that doesn't mean that they're making any sense or they're true or anything like that. All they do is raise voice and dominate the conversation, which can lead to, like you said, conflict and failed relationship. And hence the reason it's hard for me to have a relationship with them, because there's no accountability, right? It's always that aggressive type of way. If you can recall the last time we attended a meeting at the town hall, you can see the behavior again. They become aggressive. Not that they're saying anything smart, they're solving any problem. All they're doing is raising their voices and want to dominate. So again, that's my example. So there are two things. They are passive and aggressive communicators. They are not assertive. That's what I learned today.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. And hence the reason why they get my assertiveness with aggressive, and they get it all mixed up. And hence the reason why they label me as aggressive, because they don't know the difference between assertiveness and aggressiveness. But I'm not aggressive. I'm very assertive. And like I said, there's a time when you can be a time for being passive. There's a time for being assertive, and there is a time for being aggressive. There's a time for everything under the sun. And you have to know when to be passive, when to be assertive, and when to be aggressive. So let's go to a station identification break, and then we'll come right back into more discussion.
You are watching thought-provoking conversation right here on GariVision Indigenous Network, providing you with positive quality shows to enlighten, to educate, to empower, and to elevate your minds. GariVision Indigenous Network.
All right, welcome back to the show. And of course, you're watching GariVision Indigenous Network, thought-provoking conversation with myself and Brother Amadi Denzel Lino. Brother Amadi, let's talk about the passive, the assertive, and the aggressive when it comes to vote.
Well, again, it cannot be assertive, because again, remember, voting in Belize is not based on conscience. It's based on people vote on money. So, for example, use a wild card. You have a millionaire come from any country. Hopefully, he's black. It's easier to be black. It might be a challenge to be white. I wouldn't be surprised a white man could win, right? But as long as you got the right money, because the only thing it takes for a citizen of Belize to vote is $50 and up. It's not about conscience. It's not about your policy. It's not about, right? It's just all about money. You pay me and I vote, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right. So again, we can't even get an honesty out of voting, because the voting system is dishonest. So I really can't. It's a tough question to answer.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Listen, being passive and being assertive and being aggressive. If you are assertive, you will not take $50 for your vote. Right. Yeah, they could make demands instead. Yeah. Right. Exactly. And you can become aggressive as well.
Right.
You say, man, what the hell is wrong with you, man? I'm not going to take that money, man. Are you crazy? I'm not going to sell my soul to the devil, man. Come on. Right.
But remember what I told you, right? That these are behavior traits, and behavior are learned. Remember,
Right.
Malcolm X asked the question way back in the 60s, right? That, they asked the question basically that black people learn how to kill other black people, right? Because even from slavery days, they used to use the black slave to kill other blacks.
Right.
But it's rare that you find that they ever in black people to kill their enemy, right? So basically what I'm saying is it's a behavior trait. It's something that was learned. Somebody taught the Belizeans then that $50 per vote is the way to go, but nobody didn't teach them the right way, that your vote is your voice. You can make demands. It has a value. Nobody never taught them the right thing. So that's a behavior that wasn't taught. The behavior that's being taught and maintained is the bad behavior, which is, imagine, it's a bad behavior, and the government of Belize don't even want to change the election and boundaries. So it breeds corruption. It starts from the beginning, from the voting all the way to the top. Being assertive, even as all Belizeans could just say, you know what, we are done with this, we are putting a stop. If you see my post, I joke around, I say, can citizen arrest other citizen if they suspect them of committing a crime? If that is so, then can they even arrest the prime minister? Man, just like you see in other countries, look, you got all these popular social media influence in Belize. If all these popular social media make a post and say, look, on such and such date, we are meeting in Belmopan, in central government, and we're going to walk in there, and we're going to demand all the arrest or whatever they have. The government have two choices: arrest all of us or arrest them. Who you going to choose? The people or them? That's being assertive. If not, we go in there and get him ourselves. That would shape the nation, right? But again, that type of courage, that type of even strategy, analytical thinking, ways of coming around, getting yourself out of a system and they don't teach that. They don't support that, So again, assertiveness is definitely not a popular thing.
And like I always ask you, man, so how are the children going to learn to be assertive when the parents don't even know what being assertive is? Have you ever, listen, I'm not trying to bash on the mayor, right? But have you ever had a conversation with the mayor and you can see that he cannot look you in your eyes? When you talk with the mayor, he looks down and he looks over your head while he's talking with you, right? So how can we get our children to be assertive when the adults don't even know what the hell being assertive is?
Right. And I think especially for boys, right? Like, just like you go in kindergarten, you learn your ABC, you learn your manners, you should be able to learn assertiveness. Right? You're in school from kindergarten, you go from grade school, they should be teaching assertiveness and instead of being passive, because we already know what passiveness brings. It brings conflict, it brings abuse, you can take an advantage. You know what? It's better you be assertive, because if you don't be assertive, people will take advantage of you. But
you know what? Let me read this comment here by Urue, Mel Urue. She says, are people in the community being aggressive or assertive or a combination of both when politicians, when they attend meetings or engagement about issues in the community? No, that's a damn good question. That's a damn good question. And I know what the answer is. They're not being assertive or aggressive with these politicians. They're being passive. All right?
They can't. That's what I'm saying, Francois. They cannot. They cannot be assertive. If you try, look at Major Sawaso. Let's use that as an example of being assertive. That you're putting a request, his conscience say, you know what, I got to do the right thing. The government say, you know what, don't do it. He said, no, you know what, I'm doing it anyway. He's being firm. I'm doing it anyway. And what happened? Well, being assertive going to get you out of here. And most Garifuna know it. But there's a lesson to be learned from that, Francois. that if you allow it to happen, right? Like, let's say, for example, we have 5 people in a room, right? And we have one man at the door, right? We have one man at the door guarding the door with a knife and is telling, and is have 5 of us hostage, right? All of us could be afraid of who's going to take the lead, because whoever take the lead is going to get the first stab, right? And then we're all going to get killed. But if we say, look, here what? If we don't do anything, we're going to be forever in this room and all our way are dead. But if we all rush together, he probably only killed 2 and 3 get away. It only it has to take 5 of the people to agree, because nobody know which 2 is going to die. But if 2 are afraid and the 5 can't do it, then the whole 5 get condemned. You follow me? So that's the situation that Garifuna people are in, that everybody is afraid. The first one is afraid to take the lick. That's what I keep telling them. I said, all it takes is one person who know a lot of information and be that whistleblower and bust the bubble, right? Because there's few people in Dangriga that has a lot of secret that can shake up all this political corruption within Dangriga and the Garifuna community. I don't worry. I'm not too concerned about national interest as yet. I'm only focusing on Garifuna interests, and when we are done get Garifuna interests together, then I can start entertaining other people's interests. Again, that's goes well along with assertiveness, taking care of myself first, then others, not just myself. Because again, they want to say racist and all of this. The guys who talk about racist don't even know what racist mean.
Yeah, I know, right? But Amadi, we have another comment here. Mel Uruwe, is it anger, frustration that's built up year over year, yet they still vote for the same party because the UDP or PUP all the way? Is it anger?
It's none of that, man. That's a psychological trauma. Psychological trauma they suffer with. They need therapy for that, or they need to go into a real self introspection and try to get themselves out that if they want. Because right now they are traumatized and they are trapped in that. They don't see no other way. If I get out of politics, what am I going to do in Dangriga? What is there to do in Dangriga besides politics? Shine Borough, what is there to do in Belize besides politics?
Yeah, you know what, but Amadi, let's go into our music of the day. We have a new video that we're gonna showcase today. I love the concept of this song. But let's go into this music. Then we'll talk about it some more after we view it.
Gavala funa kumfulira na sefu bafuna saudi masefu banala bucha dunya nuwa wiribu wanu magwa ugunye wadina bayana sarunga ruga kamalela go bunyadina babana bureme sefu bana nuwari wagu wanu buchile libera bana sia wadina nungwa babana bureme sefu bana Nuwari waguwa nuguchile libera bana Asya wadina nungwa bukate weri dili doni bagari mamera kutia kani buselu mutini le dili chigati sunluwe yeri daraseli doni bagari Figo magamba dine luma mabagarini buchanu wagwa mudira kuwa kudanungu walunaganile baba beri hanu wagu wanahaya asalida na figo hama bwincho kuduladina buku ya rugaline megera iderabana isuba mugana kelila uti babuzera baba na bure meoni bungyute Saminara kabala funa kumfulira nasefu bafuna sa odi masefu bana baba na bure mesefu bana nuwari waguwa nugu chile libera bana siagwadina nungwa baba na bure mesefu bana Nuwari waguwa nugu chile libera bana siagwadina nungwa
Beautiful. It's a beautiful piece right there. I've always said that the time is now for all Garifuna artists to showcase the Garifuna culture in a beautiful, in a positive way. And I've always said that my music has always been positive, has always been uplifting. And I believe that it's time that we, as a people, that we as artists showcase our beautiful culture in a positive, in an uplifting way. But let's go into our Garifuna word of the day, and then we'll come back and touch a little bit more with the subject and about the music. And today, our Garifuna word is Abunaha. Abunaha. To bury the dead. Abunaha. That's our Garifuna word for today is Abunaha. Now, I've always said that I'm not as proficient in the Garifuna language, but I do my best to try and I do my best to share the knowledge. I'm not going to say I do my best to try because I do my best to share the knowledge. So today, Garifuna word for today is Abunaha, which means to go and bury the dead. Let me use Abunaha in a sentence. Nebuga Abunaha Namule Ogunye. I'm going to bury my dead brother today. Nebuga Abunaha Namule Ogunye. That's the word for today. The Garifuna word for the day is Abunaha. Abunaha. And it means to bury the dead. Abunaha. All right, so that's the Garifuna word for today. Make sure you take a note of it. Abunaha. All right, Brother Mahdi, you wanna talk a little bit about this music video? But we just watched how the music was so it's mixed, it's mastered, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it was, Francois. I've always wanted to see many more artists experimenting with Garifuna music. I think it's like way overdue, right? I remember I haven't seen him again on Instagram and Facebook. We used to have this guy, Safaga from New York. He used to blend paranda with hip hop, right? You know, so that was one person that was experimenting with hip hop and paranda, you know, but I don't see a lot of it again. And then you got this one again in Garifuna. you know, I like different kind of music. So again, I think it's good, and I would like to see more again positive expression of music like that.
Yeah, but let me ask you this question. So, if you are Garifuna and you are an artist, but you don't do traditional Garifuna music, are you still a Garifuna artist?
I think he would be a Garifuna artist, but it's not Garifuna music. You know what I mean? Because just by being is like a black rapper or a Hispanic rapper singing hip hop. You know, because you got Belizean artists singing dancehall, which is like reggae, you know, Jamaican.
Right.
Yeah. But again, the common denominator we are asking for is that what Garifuna person produced Garifuna music, right? And they're going outside of the self, outside of the culture to express themselves, because you're expressing how you feel. And if you feel that you're not Creole, you feel, then you express yourself that kind of way.
Right. Okay, let's do a reflection of the show. Passive. Today we spoke about the word passive, assertive, and aggressive. And we said that when you are passive, you let people run you over, right? You are not when you are assertive, you are direct and clear. But when you are passive, you avoid conflict as much as possible. You don't speak your mind. You let the others dictate you. But when you are aggressive, now when you are aggressive, you don't have no regards for anybody else's opinion. So the difference between assertive, aggressive, and passive, those are the three we discussed today. Brother Amadi?
Yeah, Francois. Well, before we close off, I think again where I think this passive and assertiveness plays a very significant role again, Francois. It's in our young people. Like I said, I think it's something that should be taught at a young age, because think about our young people, boys and girls in adolescent years at 12, 13, and 14. That's where peer pressure hits young people. So at this time, around this adolescent age at 12, 13, 14, they are learning how to be disciplined about themselves and how to be assertive, when to say no to a friend with peer pressure, right? That could be a valuable lesson young people can learn from a young age, and I think it could take them a long way into their adulthood. So I think again, the show today, I think again, I rate it one of our best shows, man. Being assertive, passive, and aggressive. So again, kudos to you for this show. Good topic. I love it.
Yeah, man, I do too, man. I do too. But like I said, we have a lot that we need to address in our Garifuna communities, wherever we are, in Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Belize. We have a lot that we need to address, you know. And I know I said earlier that I have been labeled, and it's unfortunate that people believe these labels. We spoke about believe and know last week, and I said that when you break down the word believe, B and lie, B-E and L-I-E, be lie. So when you believe, when you hear something and you believe it, you in a big lie, right?
Yeah.
You in a big lie. So
I could honestly say, you don't believe, you be lying.
That's it right there. You be lying. Yeah, absolutely. You be lying. So so let's teach our children to be assertive, and let's break away from being passive, because passivity has destroyed our communities. Now we're going to close off with a track from my upcoming album, and And someone told me that I should talk about my music on today's show. So you know what? The music, The Smoother Side of Francois, is available on Bandcamp. It's also available on iTunes. It's available on Spotify. It's available on the majority of these music platforms. The Smoother Side by Francois. That's what the album is called. The Smoother Side by Francois. So I would appreciate if you go online and you order a copy of this album, and you will not be disappointed. The music is beautiful. I've spent my whole life working on these 13 songs. I've worked my whole life getting these songs together. When in the 80s, myself, Evan Hill, DJ BC, Edsel Arnold used to listen to all these songs in the cars, and they used to say, "Man, Franz, release the album now." I said, "No, it's not ready. I need some live horns. I need some live drums," and I wasn't ready at that time. But now the album has been released, and it's really nice. So when you get a chance, The Smoother Side by Francois is available on Bandcamp, BANDCAMP, bandcamp.com. It's also available on Spotify, on iTunes, on CD Baby. It's available on the majority of these platforms. Amazon Prime Music, wherever you search for your music download, you'll find it. Again, it's called The Smoother Side by Francois, and it's really smooth. So let's wrap this show up, and we're gonna go out with one of the songs off my new upcoming album. Brother Amadi, you want to say something before you close?
Yeah, well, just before we close, Francois, I hope for our viewers who's watching, before I log off, don't forget to share the content and subscribe to the YouTube channel, like it, and even drop a comment. And with that, much love and respect, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. So this song you're gonna listen to on the outro. This is from my second album coming up. I believe we're gonna release the album in June. So from the second album, it's called Smooth Paranda. So this track is from my second album, releasing here probably in June or July, but it's gonna be released in the summer of this year. So I hope you enjoy this track, and this is from my second album. So let's close out with this track. Again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all our viewers on YouTube. Again, thank you for Melissa Rock for controlling the switch. Thank you, Amadi, for being the co-host, and thank you to all our viewers. We really do appreciate you. Amadi?
Right. No, that's it. Until next time. Again, we'll see them same place, same time next week.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we say ayo. And again, this is from my second upcoming album, which is going to be released in the summer of 2026. My entire catalog is all smooth. All the songs are smooth because my music reflects who I am. I'm just a smooth dude.